Ava didn't understand she was being moved until the elevator doors closed behind her. Two officers stood at her sides, silent and rigid. The metal box hummed as it ascended to a floor she had never been allowed near. Her wrists weren't cuffed. But the message was clear. This wasn't a transfer. It was a decision being made for her. The elevator stopped. One officer tapped a code into a keypad, and the doors opened to a nearly empty hallway. "This way," he said. They led her through a single steel door and into a small unit that looked nothing like the one she left behind. The beds were spaced farther apart. The lighting was calmer, almost soft. Only 10 cells lined the walls. A few women sat at tables, reading or playing cards. They glanced up when Ava entered, but their looks weren't hostile, they were calculating. Ava felt a chill run through her. This wasn't general population. This was H block. The block reserved for inmates who were high-influence risks. Leaders, strategists, threats. Ava swallowed. "Why am I here?" Officer Grant approached. "Ramirez, this is temporary protective housing." Ava shook her head. "Protective? From what?" Grant didn't answer directly. "You've become a piece in something larger. Leaders on different units are questioning your loyalty. That makes you a lightning rod." Ava rubbed her forehead. "I didn't do anything. Doesn't matter." Grant said, "Perception is reality in here." A woman at the far table laughed softly and called out, "She'll learn that quick enough." Grant ignored her. "Ramirez," she continued in a low voice, "use this time wisely. Stay quiet. Figure out who's coming for you and who wants you on their side." Ava's pulse accelerated. "I don't want to be on anyone's side." Grant gave her a sympathetic look. "Too late for that." She walked away, leaving Ava alone in the center of the unit. The inmates watched her. Not with curiosity, with recognition, as if she was already part of something she didn't understand. Ava took an empty bunk and sat down, trying to make sense of everything. The warden's warnings, Trinity's cryptic message, the shadows moving in the dark. It felt like she had been shoved onto a stage she didn't audition for. A voice interrupted her thoughts. "You're Ramirez." Ava looked up. A woman with close-cropped hair and tattooed arms stood at the foot of her bunk, her presence sharp and commanding. "I'm Cora," the woman said. "I run this block." Ava's stomach clenched. "Everyone runs something in here." Cora smirked. "Exactly. And now you're in my territory." Ava forced herself to stay calm. "Look, I'm not trying to get involved with anyone. I didn't ask to come here." Cora stepped closer. "Nobody asks. But the moment the warden moves you here, it means people in power think you matter." Ava's pulse quickened. "I don't matter." Cora leaned in, eyes piercing. "Wrong. You matter because you're unpredictable. You're unclaimed. You're new enough to bend but old enough to see what's coming." Ava whispered, "What is coming?" Cora folded her arms. "A shift. A big one. The old leaders are slipping. The warden's cracking down. Factions are scrambling. And in the chaos, the system looks for new pieces to stabilize the board." "I'm not a piece," Ava insisted. Cora laughed quietly. "Everyone's a piece. Some are just sharper than others." Ava stared at the floor. "I just want to survive." Cora's voice softened suddenly. "Then listen to me. People will come to you in the next few days. Some will offer protection. Others will offer power. And some will offer a way out of choosing at all." Ava looked up. "What's that supposed to mean?" Cora smiled faintly. "You'll see." Before Ava could respond, the door buzzed and opened. 3 new women entered the block, led by an officer. Ava's breath caught. One of them was Trinity. Trinity walked in with her usual calm stride, eyes sharp and unreadable. When she spotted Ava, she didn't show surprise. She simply nodded once, like she'd expected this. Ava felt the back of her neck prickle. Why was Trinity here, and what did it mean? Trinity settled into the bunk across from Ava's. That alone sent whispers rippling through the block. Cora watched from a distance, her expression tightening. After lights dimmed for evening quiet time, Trinity sat on the edge of Ava's bunk. "You shouldn't have come to me last night," she said. Calmly, Ava clenched her jaw. "You told me to. I told you to if you wanted the truth, not if you wanted safety." "Then what's the truth?" Ava asked. Trinity looked around the unit before replying. "This prison is shifting," she said. "The factions are uneven. The guards are splitting loyalties. Someone in administration is pulling strings. And you," she pointed at Ava's chest, "are the known they're all trying to claim." Ava swallowed hard. "Why me?" Trinity's eyes softened for the first time since they'd met. "Because you don't know your own influence yet." Ava's voice cracked. "I don't have influence." Trinity shook her head. "You survived your first conflict untouched. You handled Maya's introduction. You avoided the smaller gang traps. You didn't fold under officer pressure. And most importantly, she leaned in. People talked to you without you even trying." Ava felt dizzy. "That doesn't mean anything." "It means everything," Trinity corrected. "That's leadership." "How long will I be here?" Ava asked quietly. Trinity sighed. "Until the warden decides what to do with you. Or until the factions decide first." Ava shivered. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying H block is safer than where you came from," Trinity said. "But only for a while." Ava stared at the floor, her breathing shallow. "What am I supposed to do?" Trinity folded her arms. "You're supposed to survive. And to survive, you're going to have to stop pretending you're helpless." Ava looked up sharply. "I'm not helpless." "Good," Trinity said. "Then prove it." A pause. "How?" Ava asked. Trinity stood and nodded toward the other inmates in the block, each one watching Ava more openly than before. "By learning what they already know," Trinity said. "That you're becoming important." Over the next 3 days, everything shifted. Small moments, small interactions, yet each one carried weight. Two guards she'd never spoken to greeted her by name. Each block inmates began inviting her to their tables, to their card games, to their conversations. Not as a friend, as a potential ally. But she couldn't deny the truth. She was being pulled on stage again. Only this time, Trinity didn't intervene. And Cora watched her with a calculating patience, as if waiting to see which direction Ava would lean. On the 4th day, the warden called Ava back to the same plain conference room. "We've reviewed everything," Hale said. "Your presence in H block is causing unintended effects." Ava's stomach dropped. "What kind of effects?" "Stabilizing ones," Investigator Weston said from the corner. "Inmates are talking less. Tension is lowering. Even Cora has eased up." Ava frowned. "Why would I cause that?" Warden Hale exhaled. "Because you're the only person in months who walked into this prison without a label. And now the factions are splitting their focus onto you instead of each other." Ava whispered. "So I'm a distraction." "More like a fulcrum," Weston said. "You're a potential center point, and if you choose a side, any side, the entire prison will shift." Ava felt the weight of that land on her like a stone. "I don't want that power," Ava said. Ava shook her head. "You can move me somewhere else. We move the attention." "It won't matter," Weston interrupted. "The attention will follow you." Ava stared at him. "So what am I supposed to do?" The warden answered plainly. "You're going to help us keep this facility stable." Ava felt her heart stop. "By becoming what they already think you are," Hale said. "A leader." "You can," Weston said. "And you will." "Because the alternative is letting the wrong people lead." Ava's breath trembled. "I don't want to control anyone." "Then don't," Hale said. "Just exist. Strategically." Ava closed her eyes. She was losing the last piece of who she used to be, and becoming someone new. But someone the prison already saw clearly. That night, Trinity sat beside Ava during evening quiet time. "Well," Trinity asked. "What did they tell you?" Ava hesitated before whispering. "They want me to be something here." Trinity nodded. "Of course they do." Ava looked at her. "What if I don't want to?" Trinity leaned in, eyes steady. "No one wants to be a queen in a place without crowns," she said softly. "But when the board is shifting, sometimes the quietest piece becomes the most powerful." Ava's voice cracked. "I'm not a queen." Trinity smiled faintly. "Not yet." Ava felt her chest tighten. "What happens now?" Trinity gestured around the block, around the inmates who were watching them, around the guards, who were beginning to move differently, around the walls that seemed to be listening. "Now," Trinity whispered, "you learn the rules of power." Ava swallowed hard. "So I can survive." "No," Trinity said. "So you can win." Those words echoed in Ava's head long after lights went out. And by morning, the entire prison would begin treating her differently. Because Ava Ramirez wasn't unseen anymore. She was becoming part of the structure. Part of the influence. Part of the power. Willing or not. And the shadow network was already preparing for her next move. Ava woke before dawn. Each block was still asleep, quiet breathing, blankets rising and falling, a faint rustle here and there. But something in the air felt different, heavier. Like the moment before a storm cracks the sky. She sat up slowly, adjusting to the dim blue light seeping in through the narrow window. Today mattered. She didn't know why, exactly, only that she felt the weight of it. A knock sounded on her bunk rail. Trinity stood there, fully awake, calm as ever. "It's time," she said. Ava swallowed. "Time for what?" Trinity didn't answer. "Get dressed." They walked in silence through the corridor, escorted by two guards who looked uncomfortable, almost nervous. Ava couldn't shake the feeling that she was being led to something she couldn't undo. "Trinity," she whispered, "where are we going?" "For you to see the whole board," Trinity replied. The guard keyed open a heavy steel door. Inside was a small observation room. Looking through thick glass into a larger hall, Ava recognized the rec area used by three of the most powerful factions in the prison. Only today, no one was using the tables or the equipment. They were standing, gathered, waiting. Ava's pulse kicked hard. "What is this?" she breathed. The guard spoke flatly. "You weren't supposed to see this until later, but it's already happening." "What's happening?" Trinity stood beside her, arms crossed. "Realignments," she said. "They're choosing sides." Ava pressed a hand to the glass. "Because of me?" "Hardly." Trinity paused. "Mostly because of the vacuum you exposed." Ava turned to her, heart pounding. "I didn't expose anything." Trinity raised an eyebrow. "Then why are they fighting over who gets to claim you?" Ava jolted back. "Claim me?" Trinity spoke calmly, as if explaining weather patterns. "Your lack of allegiance scares them. They want certainty in chaos. If you stand with one group, that group gets an advantage." Ava shook her head in disbelief. "I don't want to stand with anyone." Trinity looked her dead in the eye. "That's why they want you. You're neutral. And neutrality is powerful." Ava stared through the glass again. The women in the rec hall were dividing into clusters. Callista's faction at the left, Monroe's at the right, and a smaller group loyal to Rosa near the back. Their leaders began murmuring, gesturing, occasionally glancing toward the observation window. "They know I'm here," Ava whispered. "Yes," Trinity said. "They requested it." Ava pulled away from the glass. "No, I'm not doing this." Trinity stepped in front of her. "Ava, listen to me." Ava's breath was shaking. "I'm not a leader. I don't want whatever they think I'm supposed to be." Trinity's voice lowered, softened. "You don't have to want it. You already are it." Ava flinched. "Stop saying that. A leader isn't someone who wants control. It's someone people respond to. People watch. People trust." Ava's throat tightened. "I never asked for this." Trinity let out a slow breath. "Neither did I." Their eyes met, and Ava realized something she had never seen before. Trinity was scared too. An officer opened the door to the rec hall. "Hail!" The warden stood in the doorway. Ramirez, she said, we need you. Ava backed up. No. I'm not stepping in there. You're not being asked to choose a faction, Hale said. You're being asked to calm a potential riot. Ava stared at her. I can't. Yes, the warden said firmly. You can. And you're the only one who can. The intensity in her voice left Ava stunned. Weston stepped forward. He looked exhausted. They won't talk to us. They won't negotiate with us, but they agreed to stop escalation if you speak. Ava felt frozen. She wasn't trained for this. She wasn't built for this. She was just Ava. Small and remarkable, trying to fade into the background, but here, fading was impossible. Trinity placed a hand on her shoulder. You go in, she murmured. I'll stay at the door. You won't be alone. Ava exhaled shakily, her chest tight. Why me? She whispered. Trinity stepped closer, her voice steady in the quiet. Because for the first time in this place, they see someone who doesn't want power. And that makes you the only one they trust not to abuse it. Ava closed her eyes, then opened them, and nodded. The rec hall fell silent when she stepped inside. Hundreds of eyes snapped to her at once. Leaders stiffened, groups shifted subtly. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Ava walked forward slowly. Trinity just behind her. She felt small. She felt exposed. She felt like she had stepped onto a stage built out of cages and politics. Callista approached first, chin raised. Ramirez, we've been waiting. Monroe followed. We need clarity. Rosa crossed her arms. We need fairness. Ava forced herself to swallow the knot in her throat. I'm not here to lead anyone. I'm not here to choose any faction. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Callista narrowed her eyes. Then why are you here? Ava straightened her spine. Because you all asked for me. The room quieted again. I didn't ask for this, Ava said. I didn't want this. But I'm not going to let anyone get hurt because of me. She scanned the room. All of you want stability. All of you want safety. All of you want to survive this place. We have more in common than you think. No one dared interrupt. Ava kept going, heart hammering. I'm not aligning with anyone. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But I'll listen. I'll help when I can. And if any of you have a problem with another, you can bring it to me first. A low electric tension moved through the room, not anger, recognition, a new center point, a new axis. Rosa stepped forward. So you're saying you'll mediate? Ava nodded. If it stops violence, yes. Monroe crossed her arms. And if someone pressures you to take a side, Ava held her gaze. Then they don't respect what I'm offering. Callista smiled slowly. Sharply. You know what this makes you. Ramirez, Ava swallowed. What? Callista tilted her head. A neutral queen. A hush fell. Monroe added quietly. A queen without a crown. Rosa exhaled. But with influence. Ava shook her head. I'm not, but Trinity stepped forward behind her and spoke the final words. She is. And in that moment, Ava felt the shift. Not a violent one. Not a political maneuver. Something quieter. Something deeper. The room accepted her. Not as a leader. Not as a ruler. But as a stabilizing force. A presence. A center. Someone who could hold the weight of fractured alliances without breaking. Someone who could survive the storm by becoming the still point in its eye. A queen without a crown. When the meeting ended peacefully, shockingly so, Hale pulled Ava aside. You handled that better than trained negotiators, she said. Ava shook her head. I was just talking. That's what negotiation is, Hale replied. Weston added, we'll be updating your housing status. You'll remain in H block indefinitely. Ava blinked. Indefinitely? Hale nodded. It's where you belong now. A flicker of fear crossed Ava's chest, but then Trinity stepped beside her. Arms folded. She won't be alone, Trinity said. Ava looked at her. For the first time since entering this prison, she felt something inside her steady. Not safety. Not victory. But acceptance. This was her reality now. This was who she was becoming. Not by choice. but by survival. That night, back in H Block, women nodded at her with a new kind of respect. Not fearful. Not hungry. Just aware. Ava sat on her bunk, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in her mind. Trinity sat across from her, legs crossed, arms resting on her knees. "Well done," she said softly. Ava sighed. "I didn't mean to become anything here." Trinity smiled faintly. "That's exactly why you did." Ava looked at her. "What happens next?" Trinity leaned back. "Next, you learn how to keep the peace. And after that," Trinity's smile widened slightly. "After that, Ramirez, you decide what kind of queen you want to be." Ava's breath hitched. Because for the first time, she didn't automatically reject the word. And somewhere deep inside, a new version of herself stirred, quiet, powerful, and wanted, but undeniable. A queen without a crown. But a queen all the same.